Hi, I'm Billy from Air Design. I'm here in Dallas at the Keystone Big Show. I brought in our master installer from Canada, Mr. Hodge. How you doing?
Great to be here.
How many of the Air Design kits have you installed so far?
Oh, geez, we're getting up into the hundreds, I think, now.
Really?
But it's the best product out there as far as I'm concerned, and I'm happy to be here and show you guys what we can do with it.
So you're going to show us some tricks of the trades today, huh?
We're going to get in there and show you how easy it is to put on if you know what you're doing. It's a quality product, so with a little bit of knowledge and the right tools, it'll go on there seamlessly.
Okay, so you're going to show us how those DRL lights...
Yeah, we'll get into some wiring because, you know, that scares a lot of people. So maybe we'll get in there and show a little bit of twisting of the wires and maybe take some of the stress off that for a few of the folks out there.
Right. Thank you, Hodge.
Happy to be here, buddy.
So here we are at the 216 F-150. We've got most of the kit on right here. So Hodge is going to show me how to wire up these beautiful Osram lights. They give you that nice daytime look. I don't know much about electricity, so Hodge is going to show us how easy it is to wire up these Air Design front bumper and hook up the lights for us.
All right, guys, here we are. We have our 2016 F-150. We're putting on this Air Designs kit. One of the key functions is the daytime running light module. Awesome little system. So with a few little access points to the truck, we're going to make some access at the battery, some access in the wheel well to do some wiring, and a small 12-volt wire in here in the engine bay. Once we've ran the wires up from the fog lights, hooked them up to our nifty little module here, it's going to be a piece of cake. So Air Design's been kind enough to include this module with an easy wiring harness. With a little bit of basic knowledge, it's not that hard to do. You have your black wire is going to be your ground wire, your red wire your positive, both connections made at the battery. Your green wire is going to be the switching wire that comes from information from the headlights. We're going to access the fender and get that hooked up, and our orange wire is going to be a switch 12 volt, just simply to keep this module happy and so that it understands what's going on. With these nice little sockets, we're going to plug directly into the lighting coming up from bottom. Wiring will scare a lot of guys, but with this kit and these instructions, Air Design's kind of taking a lot of the work out of it for you. All right, so one of the steps you're going to need to do is you need to access this wheel well. Up inside this fender well, there's a wire we need to get to. So this little tool here makes life a lot easier. So we've got a few screws up here and here. Typically you wouldn't have this fender flare in the way, but we're gonna work around that. So you have two 7mm screws here and two 9/32 screws up in here. Once you've remove those, you can move this wheel well back a little bit. Now that we've got that out of the way, it's gonna make our life a little bit easier. We're gonna reach right up in here. We're gonna get this black socket. This is your socket here that you need to get. Simple lock on the top. Remove that, and you're gonna find your blue wire with the green tracer. So now that I've opened up, just removed a little bit of tape just to get some access to this wire, just so we're not fighting with it. Again, blue wire, green tracer, it's on the end of this socket. Some nifty little wire strippers. And Air Designs does provide you with a clip and a T-tap for this wire. If you're uncomfortable with tapping into wires, doing any cutting, any splicing or anything like that, by all means use that T-tap. I do prefer a twist and tape approach to my electrical connections, so that's the way we're going to do it today for you. A pair of these notch clippers, you can simply open a chunk of wire. That's all we need. It's a very low voltage signal. We just need the information. That's how we're going to get our access. All right, so from our little module here, what we're going to do is we've got to get this green wire down to our blue and green wire. A little bit of monkey arms reaching around. You can do it just like that. Air Design and Osram has been kind enough to put a sheath on this wire for protection. Make sure you pull it down far enough for that. If you want to go a little further, I like to tape this wire up. Keeps it clean, keeps it protected. But we're going to make this connection. We're going to move on. Wires down here, break out my nifty cutters again. I'm going to nip this off. They've given you a lot of wire. This module will work for many other vehicles. No sense in having all this slack in there. It's just going to look like spaghetti, guys. Let's trim that off. Give yourself a good 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of wire to work with. You're going to get up to that socket. What I like to do, I just can't see. What I like to do is wrap the casing around once and then get our steel on copper contact there. A few good, nice, tight wraps. That's going to make a nice, tight connection. Now, if you want to be real diligent here, you can get a soldering iron in there and solder that up. We're not going to get at that today. Twist and tape is going to do the job for what we're after. Quality electrical tape from our friends at 3M. And we're going to get in here and just do a nice tape for today. We're going to pull up our slack. Nice and tight. And we're simply going to plug that socket back in. All right, guys, well, you gotta get down here for this part, but they've sent these 2 wires back from the lights and the bumper. And what we need to do is we need to get those up into the engine bay so that we can hook them up to our module. What I like to do is use Murphy's Law and kind of get a nice bunch of it here in my hands. There's a clean shot you can see with the hood open and the lights. And we're gonna run these wires up to the top. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna stuff this bunch of wires up into the top. Make sure you have a clean run. You're not running around any moving parts. On this side of the vehicle, you're pretty safe in that way. So what I like to do is take that handful and stick those wires up there. If you have an extra person to reach from the top, it'll make life a lot easier. I don't have that today. All right, so we're back up top here. If our wire's stuck where they should, I'm gonna reach down here, and there we go. Both sockets that we're gonna need to make that connection. We're gonna do our negative, our positive, and our switch 12 volts, and these lights should fire right up. So, there's our little module. There's our sockets. What I like to do, there's a little pocket down here beside the battery. I like to tuck my module down in there. And once we know everything's clean, plugged in, working and running, I'll get in there and I'll make some tape and some zip ties, and we'll just tidy this up just so it's that much cleaner. But we're gonna run our battery cable around the back of the battery. I like to stay underneath all of the wires. Ford put their stuff in here first, so let's let them have the primary spot. Stay underneath, stay clean, keep it out of the way for any mechanics that might come in here in the future, anything like that. All right, so next we're gonna hook up our negative and our positive. Little impact gun here. We're just gonna loosen off the negative terminal. Osram and Air Designs have been kind enough to put notches into their clips, which is nice. We can just sneak them underneath here. Tighten that back down, and our negative is done. Again, I like to keep everything nice, perpendicular, clean. When you're done, you should barely know this is in here. We're gonna move over, we're gonna do the same thing on our positive terminal. Again, I like to come in, stay underneath Ford stuff or any manufacturer you might be working on. Air Designs does make these kits for many, many vehicles. We're gonna tighten this guy back up, and we're good. Once I clean this up, you'll barely know this was in here. It is fused. We have safety on this circuit, so you don't have to worry about your vehicle. They've been sure to cover all the bases there. Our fire wire is orange wire. It's a switch voltage wire. What this does is allows our lights to dim and brighten based on the desired function in the truck. Air Designs used to send you into the fuse box to get it. It was a fine system. Problem being is that there's some inconsistencies in some of the vehicles in the fuse box. Fortunately, I'm a 310K licensed installer, which gives me an automotive electronic license. With that knowledge, I've gone a little further ahead, and what I've done is I've taken the AC pressure switch down here. On that AC pressure switch, there's a yellow wire with a green tracer. If you're familiar with these kits, Air Designs has also found this, and we're using this on the 2018s. It will work for the 15s to 17s as well. It's much closer, it's a cleaner installation, and it's going to make things a lot easier for us. Again, that's your AC pressure switch located just down below. I've only unplugged it to show you what the socket looks like. What I like to do is be a little bit sneaky. I'm going to plug that back in here. So I open the casing up right here. There's my yellow-green wire. There's my orange wire. There's my black wires. This is now what we're going to look like. We're going to simplify the system. It's going to work great. We're going to tape it all back up. You're not even going to know I was in here. So again, I like to shorten my wires up, keeps things clean. There's no sense in leaving that extra wire in there. That extra wire has been put there as a courtesy from Air Designs and Osram should you need to go to other vehicles. One of the biggest mistakes people make is leaving all that spaghetti in there, and it just looks like snot. So you can see I've made my connection here. Again, I'm doing the twist and tape. Solder if you are able to, and if you have the ability, you cannot hurt yourself with solder. So we're going to get our electrical tape. Again, we're going to get our wires back to where they were safely, insulated, protected, connected. Tape all of this up clean. And to the untrained eye, if you don't know your Ford, you barely know I was in there. Got a little cleaning up to do here. Again, I don't like spaghetti. I'm not going to cut these wires up. I don't encourage anybody to cut and shorten these wires. Osram and Air Design have put these plugs on here. Simplifies the connection. Should you ever have a problem with module or lighting, you're going to be able to disconnect it and add to it. So don't mess with these ones. Let's just take some time. Follow the folds in the wires. We're going to clean them all back up. And add some tape or some zip ties here to this ground wire just to tidy it up so we're not looking at anything. Again, same thing over here with a few little wires. I'm going to secure this module down in beside the battery just so we're not rattling and don't have any issues. And you'll get a shot of it all cleaned up and probably can't even see it. All right, guys, as you can see, the lights are on and looking awesome. We've got that finish up for you today. Thank you for watching the tutorial on the Air Designs 2014 to 2016 front daytime running light bumpers. If you guys need any other info, you have any other questions, tips, tricks, or things you want to ask, don't hesitate.